Alright, we're back at video number 7, and today is going to be cleaning up some stuff. I asked you between last video and this one to go back over with a V-tool and just clean up some areas, and I did that. I did that a lot around here under the bottom where the feet are. I cleaned a little bit of that out, and I cleaned a little bit of it around the head and back of the head, but I wanted you to go around to every transition area. So there's a transition area right here from the body to the arm, transition from the body to the head, transition from the head to the neck of the jersey. I wanted you to get back in there and clean all that up. In other words, just get rid of as many of those fuzzies as you can. There may be another way that you do it, and that's entirely up to you. I got a little emery board here, which they're practically useless for doing much because they break off a lot, but I use that for getting in here in between the head. So between the head and the arm, you can get in here with a rasp. If you don't like using sand or sandpaper, then don't use these emery boards because they have a tendency to leave stuff all over your carving. But I'm not going back in here with my knife. What I would use is a metal rasp that'll allow me to get in there. So hopefully you went around and cleaned it out to your satisfaction. We'll have a different discussion about satisfaction levels or whatever. I asked you to come down here and thin this arm out. So basically what this is this is the sleeve up to here, and this is the bear's arm. What we're going to do is just thin that down just a little bit. I don't need much, but I do need it to be consistent. I don't want it one thickness on one side and one on the other. Okay, so we did that. I'm going to make sure that this line right here is straight all the way around. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go straight in each one of those sides, just making sure that's flat. Hopefully you could see that in there. I kind of got my hand in the way. And what I'm going to do is, see how this tapers? I want to make sure it doesn't taper, because what I'm going to do is fit this piece of the wood, fit that into the foam finger fan device, whatever you want to call that. So I'm just trying to make sure that goes straight down rather than tapers. A little taper I can handle. So I went ahead and drilled that out. I know I've had a friend of mine, every time I use a drill he says I'm cheating. Whatever. Anyway, I want to make sure this gets in there deep as I can, so I'm gonna go in here, trim just a little bit of this off, probably 1/8 of an inch. I want it seated as far down as I can. One of the things you can do if you really want is you could, I lost a piece there. You could drill this hole and then drill around it some more so that you can get it to embed in there. But I think what we've got is close enough. When we look at where we're at, that's going to be close enough, and I got to finish doing the finger. Okay, so today's going to be spent just doing some detail. When we're done with this, when we're at the satisfaction we want, again, you got to make decisions. Is this a hairy bear? Are you going to have him with hair? What are you going to do? What kind of shoes are you going to have? I'm just going to make mine just tennis shoes, sneakers, whatever you want to call them. I'm just working my way around it, looking at where the cleanup places are. There were few cut marks down here in the arm, a few more down in here that they're just fuzzies. And if you watch me long enough, you know I have a Dremel that I use with a wand that I can mount some Scotch-Brite pad pieces to it and do a lot of cleanup, and it saves me a lot of time. Purists don't like it, and I'm not carving for the purists. I'm carving for me and my customers and my students. So whether I'm quote-unquote cheating, as my friend in Oregon calls it, or what, I think I'm doing what I need to do for me. In reality, when I carve, I'm carving for me. I'm not carving just for anybody, because for the most part, with the exception of a few commissions, for the most part, what I do sells. In the last 2 shows, we've sold 30 or 40 pieces at each show. So that tells me that people like what I got and they're willing to take it home. So here, cleaning up a little bit, we got a few little leftover marks there. Try to remember to stay in my line. My little dot right there is kind of an unobtrusive way for me to keep it straight. Places here where we still got saw marks, I'll take those off too. I think since we last talked, I went ahead and put in some of these wrinkles here. I want to put in just a few right in here. One there. I didn't get that all the way out. Another one right there. And just for numerical purposes, we'll put just another little one down here. So I like odd number of wrinkles. I don't like even numbers. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. I just know that when I look at it, an odd number of wrinkles seems to make sense for me. I know, call me weird. I've been called worse. It's okay. It's okay. Down in here, I got a little bit of stuff in there I want to get out. Might have to get a real small knife and get in there, but I think that'll work. Okay, I want to round that mouth off just a little bit because it's really coming down straight. And he's a cheering, happy bear, so I want to get a little bit of V-tool in there. So I want to just bring that down and just give it more of a smile there. I don't know that bears ever smile. Probably not, but I don't know what a bear smile would look like. There we go. Got a little more in there. If you don't have one of these little grout brushes or whatever, go get you one. These things that come in handy. I've got 3 or 4 of them sitting around here around the garage, and I use them for a lot of things. Alright, I got my 7 on the back. I'm just going to V-tool it around. So I said yesterday we'd write it in. Hopefully you enjoyed that story about me playing football. I wasn't very big and I wasn't very good. And my coach kept telling me, sit down and shut up. If you get hurt, your mama's going to kill me. And so I didn't play much. I was very fast, but I was very tiny. So, bottom line is I didn't play much. That's okay. That's alright. Nothing wrong with that. Cool. So we got that 7 outlined. I'm going to come in here with a knife and just get the tip of it. Just make some stop cuts in there so we can raise the letter out from the surface of the jersey. I'm not going to bother putting my name across there. Carving Owens with an S. A little bit difficult because you're trying to turn the corner and it doesn't really work. We got a little U-gouge or a fishtail gouge, whatever you want to call it. Not a very big one. This will work really well for just taking off just a little bit. It's not a real big blade, so I don't have to worry about it butting up against a lot of other stuff and smack it into it. But it'll just allow me to just get right in here and take out the wood around that number. I think I called it a letter a while ago. A number. I do know the difference between my letters and my numbers. I did go to school. I even graduated. Then I went back and got a bachelor's and a master's because I wanted to teach school, and so I taught that for a long time. Alrighty then. Clean it up a little more with that V-tool. Okay. Alright, again, detail is what we're working on today. So if you notice around the sleeves, I've got a cuff there, or edge of the shirt. I want to do the same thing around this bottom edge of the shirt. I just want to, it needs to look more finished than what it does. So I'm not even going to draw this in. I'm just going to, because we're working with cloth. So sometimes cloth doesn't stay straight. So you got to go the way it needs to go. So I'm not going to bother trying to keep it as straight as I can. I'm just going to go across there And if there's a little bit of waves in there through there, that's okay. That just means the shirt is kind of hanging on the fella or gal, whichever it may be. Girls are fans just like guys are. So follow it around the other side. I think I'm getting to the point where I like where we're at and what we've done so far. Try to connect those lines as much as we can to provide a little bit of continuity there. And then go back, and I've created a little spot there I got to clean up for myself. So no big deal. When I do my little cleanup, I'll take care of a lot of that. Okay. So starting from the head, we got ears, we got a nose, we got eyes, we got a mouth. We got a finger up here that we're going to put another piece of that finger on. I'm not sure if you need to watch me carve this. This is just carving that out. It's going to be flat. I'm going to take all these saw marks off. I'm going to separate it right up here. And then I'm not going to drill anymore, because when I measure how deep that hole is, it's down about that in the stick. It's about that far on the wood, down a little bit more. So it'll let me embed this without bottoming out on the bottom. So you know how to do this. I won't bother boring you with that. We'll put that on in the next video. But we've got all this carved. We got all the stuff we'd want. We're trying to clean up the little fuzzies, and it seems like I look and I clean them and then they multiply. I think they're doing a little hanky-panky down there in the corner where I'm not watching, so they're recreating and getting in the way. Notice if you see this side of the head, right there, looks a little bit wider than the other side. So I'm going to come back in here, and where that head is right there, I'm just going to take that in some. Just a little bit. I don't need to take out much, but it'll also allow me to take care of a couple fuzzies I saw in there. Okay, right in there is where I want to get, right there. I want to take a little bit of that out. So it's hard when I turn it up this way, I can't see down in there, so I got to do this and then tilt it up and come back at it at another angle from the other side. Let's see if this little V-tool will take care of that fuzzy chip in there. Maybe it will and maybe it won't. Maybe we'll just leave it there and call it good. No, that looks a little better. Yep, that looks a little better. Alright. Anyway, what I'm saying is I think we're done with this. I think we've got it where we need to go. I'm going to run out in the garage. I'll pause the video here for a second, and we'll run out in the garage. I'm going to do my wizard wheel. I'll bring it in and I'll show you what that is if you've not seen it before. I like using it because it's one thing to say carve clean, and it's another when you're working with an imperfect medium like wood. And it's another thing when you've been carving clean for 50 years or 40 years or whatever long that some of those folks tell you. Or if you're just starting out. If you're starting out, I don't want to discourage you from doing whatever works for you. It's your carving, it's your thing. You do your own thing, so I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'll show you how I do mine, as always. Follow that if you want. Otherwise, figure it out. Sometimes you just got to get in there and figure it out, and somebody can't tell you. Because there's no better teacher than experience. And so when you get in here and figure out what works, what you need to do, there's no better teacher than that. Because that experience will never leave you. Won't leave you high and dry. You'll always remember it. Well, unless you're like me and your memory's starting to fade like the sunset. Alright, anyway, we'll pause this video and run right out there and do that and then come back. We'll see you in a few minutes. Alright, I'm back from out in the garage. When I talked earlier about a rasp, if you don't want to use sandpaper, use a rasp. They make a lot of these little rasps like this, and they have different profiles. There's a triangular one, there's a flat one, there's a round one. But what that does is that allows you, without using sandpaper, to leave sand particles all over your stuff. You get in here with that little rasp, and it'll clean it up. So I think you can get them on eBay or Amazon for $6-8 for a set of them, and they work really well. Put that aside. The other thing I wanted to talk about was what I call a whizzer wheel. It's a Dremel. It's a Dremel, I don't know, 8,000 or whatever it is. I added a flexible wand so you can use it like a pencil. This is the part that spins. And so it'll start like this, these pieces of Scotch-Brite pad that I buy from Woodcraft for $1 a piece, $1.20, something like that. And I can get about 10 of them out of there. And I pile them up as 3. Can't get more than 3 because this little screw up here holding it in the top won't go past 3 of them. By the time, in fact, when you get it into 3, you got to really push down to get that to mount into the mandrel. But eventually they'll round themselves down, and eventually they'll round themselves completely off. But this allows me to get in here and kind of take care of the things that I need to take care of. It's hard to get down in here with these, but you can. So you can get in there. It's round, so it's not going to hit the flat surfaces as well. But anyway, that allows me to clean up, make the fuzzies go away, smooth down some spaces. I noticed on the back there was a lot of spaces back here where the wood was cracked, and so this just burnished it back over. It didn't sand it, just burnished it over. I did it all over the head, body, and everything, and when we're about ready to go, did I leave that out there? I bet I left that hand out in the garage. Nope, there it is, right there. So here he is, completely finished except for painted. However you want to bring that down, however you want to make this look right here is entirely up to you. I'm going to leave it right there because this is a demo and we're just showing you how it's done. Mine leans a little bit forward, so turn that, twist, whatever you want to do to that, you can do that. So anyway, that's how I finished them with those whizzer wheels, and then we go to painting after that because now I'm ready to go, and I'm gonna get myself set up to paint because all the stuff is over here on the other side of the room, and we'll do that. So that'll give me an opportunity to clean all this off, get it ready for painting. And that'll give me time between now and then to decide what kind of team he's representing. And now that I put that 7 on there, and I told you the story about my junior high playing for the La Follette Owls. For the junior high, I think I'm going to stick to that color scheme, white and orange. The bear's going to be black, but white and orange is what we're going to do. So, all right, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for coming along. God bless all y'all.